Hello, weirdos! Welcome back to my channel. My name is EmmaAbe, and we talk about books on this channel because we're a bunch of freaking nerds. I say that in the most lovingly way I can. Alright, so this video is going to be, it's going to be a book haul. That's what it is. The theme around this book haul is chaotic at best. Usually I like to theme my book hauls around usually like a place that I got books from, so I'll like wait till I have a bunch of different books from that place, or like season I got stuff in. Nah, this is just a hot mess. I'll let you know like kind of where I got these books from, and I'll try to kind of keep it lumped together, but it's a little bit chaotic. So let's get started. So the first part of this book haul is going to be not as chaotic because it's all going to be books that I got from this bookstore, and I actually managed to remember the bookstore because I got a bookmark. So here's the bookmark that I got. It's super, super cute. So it's Barbara's bookstore. I don't know where it was located, but I mean, you do know where it was located, but I'm not going to tell you where it was located. And I don't know if it's like a chain or whatever. I like these bookstores, and they do a pretty good job of like finding quality used books while selling like full priced books. So two of these books that I got were full priced, and the other ones, well, I mean, they weren't full priced because I'm too cheap for that if I don't have a gift card. But two of these books were like not in the bargain section. So they have this whole bargain section that I spent so much time perusing through, and I quite enjoyed it. I could have gotten more, but I constrained myself slightly. Emphasis on the slightly because I still got like 7 books. All right, so let's start off with the 2 books that I got that weren't bargain price. They kind of go together, but they kind of don't. So I'm going to introduce them like one after the other and kind of talking about them together. So the first one is Circe. This is by Madeline Miller, and the second is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I heard this one is queer as fuck, so that's exciting. Not sure if this one is, but I'm still excited. So these are both based on myths. So this is like the myth of Circe, and this is taking the Iliad and gayifying it is the incorrect word because the Iliad is already extremely gay, but it's like bringing it into like modern young readers' attention. I'll leave it at that. That's a good enough explanation, right? Yeah, my friends have been hounding me to read these two, and I've just been kind of like, oh, I know, I gotta read them. But now I have to read them because I own them. Or at least they're higher on my priority list to read now that I own them. Those are those two. The next book I got is a biography. It is a biography of Queen Victoria, good old monarch that we love to hate. I have such a complicated relationship with like Queen Victoria because I'm just like, I acknowledge that like what she was at her time was just truly phenomenal. However, the colonialism though, like, it's not okay. Anyway, this is the biography of Victoria. This is by A.N. Wilson. Need I say more? I didn't actually have an actual copy of any of books about Queen Victoria. And now I do, and I'm so happy. And also, transitioning on to like the next book, and you get a book about Victoria, you kind of gotta get one about Albert. So this is Prince Albert. This is The Man Who Saved the Monarchy. This is also by A.N. Wilson. I did not put that together until literally right this second. Good for me. So Prince Albert is Victoria's husband, and they were married for actually like kind of like a short time until he died. And they have honestly kind of what I think is like a great love story like for their time, and it's, I don't know, their love story holds a very, very special place in my heart. I think just because I think for the time Albert was a good man like in terms of like being a supportive husband, which I automatically stand. Like, you have to stand supportive husbands. Like, he took a fucking bullet for her. Like, what? Oh my god. Find yourself a person who will take a bullet for you. That's what you gotta do. Anyway, so those are the next 2 books that I got. The next, so this is Imbeciles, the Supreme Court American Eugenics and the Sterilization of Carrie Buck. This is by Adam Cohen. So Sterilization of Carrie Buck, if I'm not mistaken, is one of those like landmark cases in terms of eugenics in American history. She was sterilized, and like this Supreme Court was like really intense because, and it was kind of like a landmark case for like American eugenics because they used the defense of her sterilization used the idea that like 3 generations of imbeciles is enough. And so Carrie Buck was considered an imbecile, and her mom was also considered like feeble-minded, and her daughter was as well. However, it's a really tragic story because her daughter was actually conceived of rape and abuse. Like if they had lived in our time now, it would be more of a failure of like the system to protect her. And yeah, it's a really sad story, but it's also a really, really interesting story in terms of science, American history, and unfortunately, eugenics. Eugenics can fuck right the fuck off. I hate it. Continuing to slightly more happier topics, we have American Moonshot. This is John F. Kennedy and the Great Space Race. This is by Douglas Brinkley. This is exactly what it sounds like. It's going to talk about the space race. It's going to talk about the Apollo missions. It's going to talk about how we got to the freaking moon. And I was eyeing this like for a while and didn't find like the courage to pick it up at like a full price. And I'm glad I waited because I got it for like $10. All right, and the very last book that I purchased from this bookstore is The Tangled Tree. This is a radical new history of life. This is by David Quammen. And I don't really know what to expect in this book other than it's going to look at science and scientific discoveries and things that radically changed our perception of how evolution worked. And that's it for this portion of the video. We got more books. We're not done yet. I'm trying to think of the best way to go through these books. Do it this way. This next section of the video is going to be random ass books that I stole from my parents because my parents just gave me a box and they were like, here's some books for you to go through, or if you don't want any of them, we're going to donate them. So first couple of these are going to be a little bit boring because they're like more textbooky. So let's get just to it. So first one is Trabajo en Vida. This is reading, listening, and speaking for intermediate studies. This is basically a Spanish textbook. It is by Garfinkel and Latore. And yeah, I just figured that it would be a nice, good way for me to actually like practice my Spanish because I don't do enough of it. I should just do more than I actually do. The next one is El Tanto. This is 14 cuentas contemporáneos. This is published by Cooper Schmidt. What are some of the books? I've actually not heard of some of these, so these will be interesting. There's some books about like history. El Bis. Never heard of that one before. La Guerra y la Paz. But yeah, these are basically a bunch of different short stories that are all compiled together. You know, it's set up like a textbook. There are activities to do after them, and yeah, these are like my parents' textbooks from when they were in college. So I just picked them up because I need to practice my Spanish. And the very last like textbooky one that I got is Spanish for Oral and Written Review. This is by Igles Medien. And yep, it's just what it sounds like. Again, just practice activities, Spanish, things that I need to be better at. I need to practice my Spanish more frickin' God, especially if I'm going to be moving where I'm going to be moving, which I'm not going to tell you because I don't know everything about that yet. Still continuing on to more random ass books I stole from my parents. This next one is going to be sounded really, really interesting to me. It might be super boring for everybody else, but I'm really excited about it. And this is 57 Practical Programs and Games in BASIC. So if you don't know what BASIC is, it's a language. It's a computer programming language. This is by Ken Tranchian, and it goes through a bunch of different programs that you can actually like write in the basic language. And I thought that this would be like a cool, fun thing to like go through and maybe write some of these programs. I don't know if I'm going to. We'll see. But it does, I'm gonna have to like bubble sort. My dude, it's my dude bubble sort. This is just how to write the bubble sort algorithm in BASIC. I figured that this would be an interesting thing to go through and try out. I don't know if I'll like make videos about it. We'll see. I've kind of semi-abandoned my programming thing that I've been doing on this channel, which I'm thinking about reviving. Just these last few months have been really, really stressful. All right, but continuing on to more book nerd things. Yeah, so this next one is Ringworld by Larry Niven. I don't know anything about this. I just know that it sounded relatively interesting, and that's it. I know it's sci-fi, and that's about it. Next one is The Great Gatsby. This is by F. Scott Fitzgerald. I did read it in high school, my freshman year, and I enjoyed it. And now I'm glad that I actually have a physical copy of it. The next one is Journey to the Center of the Earth. This is by Jules Verne. Yeah, this is another kind of like sci-fi adventure story, classic adventure story that I thought, not having to pay for it, might as well try it. If I don't like it, we can just pass it on to someone who might enjoy it more than me. Next one is The Odyssey. And I'm pretty sure I have a copy of the Iliad somewhere. Or I could be lying through my teeth. I don't know. But this is The Odyssey. This is by Homer. I read portions of this in high school. I enjoyed this a lot. Moving on. Not much to say about these. Next one is The Winter of Our Discontents, which is such a good phrase. I love it so much. This is by Steinbeck. And I love Steinbeck. I love his writing. Yeah, I have some other things, but I do not have this specific one. So I'm happy that I have this one. So that is it for a bunch of the random ass books that I stole from my parents. Now we're going to the random ass books that I've gathered that have no through line between book to book. So the first one that I'm going to talk about is Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. This is like a mystery book, but I got this at a garage sale, and I didn't actually buy it. I bought other stuff for my brother, but they were just like, oh, just take some of the books, and I really wasn't interested in most of what they had. I knew Gone Girl was popular, so I figured, you know what, I'm not really risking much if I buy this, or if I get this, so that's the reason being behind Gone Girl. And I think the whole conceit, the plot behind this is that there's this couple, and then the wife like disappears mysteriously, and her husband's implicated, but I think it's more complicated. I have no idea, but I know it's like a mystery thriller thing. Anyway, it was like in the running. I think it either won or got like runner up a couple of years ago for like the thriller or mystery category. I don't remember. Don't quote me on that. But I do know it was the runner-up or the winner. All right. Next. This is a book that I meant to read a long time ago, but I didn't. And that is The Bone Witch. This is by Rin Capiccio. And I don't know anything about it. I have the audiobook on Audible. It's a like fantasy, and the cover was cool and it looks cool. And I was going to read it for the Asian readathon, but I just didn't have time to get to this. The plans for that readathon were made quite in haste. Anyway, but it is an interesting book, and I do actually want to get to it and read it someday. Hopefully soon. I think I got this from Thrift Books, but I just bought this book that time. I took a trip to Costco, and some Costco's have book sections. I walked away with a book. This is China by Edward Rutherford. He does a lot of like novels that kind of explore a specific town from a specific specific place from a specific time in history. And this one is like, when is this one set? This is set in 1839, so it's dealing with opium. They might talk about Empress Dowager Cixi, who is so cool. She's awesome. Anyway, but this just seemed interesting to me. Honestly, I saw the word China on the cover and I was just like, yes. Is that a problem? I'm gonna say no. This one does have an audiobook. It is somewhere. I don't know where the audiobook is, but it exists. There you go. I am super tired and I want to go to bed. So I will let you guys go. I have to move all these books. I just have piles of books around me. All right, but thank you guys so much for watching. I will let you go. Let me know what are some books that you've gotten recently that you really enjoyed or you are looking forward to reading. And also, don't forget to get vaccinated. The Delta variant is no joke. Holy crap, it scares me. Anyway, but thank you guys so much for watching, and have a lovely day. Bye!